Jobs and Family Services is not posting.
Ms. Frenchko.
What?
Please stand up, please.
Why?
Because I'm requesting you to stand up, please. We're not going to deal with this. You're being very disruptive. You're disrupting the meeting. Stand up. Stand up, ma'am, please. Stand up.
Disrupting a meeting?
That's correct. You're being disruptive. Stand up.
You can be removed for being
stand up
disruptive.
now. Being very disruptive. Put your phone down, ma'am.
Why?
Put your phone down, ma'am.
This is for my safety. I'd rather go out where there's videos. Do you have a video on?
I do not.
No. Put your phone down.
Down. You're now under arrest for disrupting a public meeting. Phone down. We're going to place you in handcuffs. You are now under arrest for disruption of a public meeting.
I think that the public should be outraged over this.
Commissioner Niki Frenchko accused of being disrupted and arrested during a public meeting.
Commissioner Niki Frenchko facing a misdemeanor, disturbing a lawful meeting charge.
You want to apologize to the sheriff? Fine. If you don't, we're going to move on.
All stemming from what happened during the commissioner's public meeting Thursday morning.
We're not going to deal with this. You're being very disruptive. You're disrupting the meeting. Stand up.
Frenchko was escorted out of the room and taken to the jail in handcuffs.
It's unfortunate. It's embarrassing for our board. It's embarrassing for the county.
The arrest came while Frenchko was responding to a letter written by Trumbull County Sheriff Paul Monroe, read by the clerk during the meeting. In the letter, Monroe asked Frenchko for a public apology in response to an email she read in a meeting last month. That email, sent to Frenchko from a former inmate's mother, claimed the inmate was denied requested medical treatment at the jail. Monroe says the accusation was false since the inmate never requested medical attention. In an interview as she was released from jail, Frenchko says her arrest was politically motivated.
But because they were reading that letter today, asking for a public apology that I would not give, they came right for me, the deputies, for the sheriff, to whom I would not apologize, and they did what they did. It was purely political.
Monroe says that isn't the case, and, quote, what she did violated the law and forced our deputies to take official action.
And I think that the people who elected me should be absolutely outraged that when I do what I'm elected to do, which is expose the truth, to say what's going on about these situations that are normally swept under the rug, that they should be outraged that I'm getting treated the way I am for doing what they elected me to do.
To talk about something that is unfounded or make something that is not necessarily true into something that's true. We can't do that with other elected officials.
Trumbull County Commissioner Niki Frenchko says she and her legal team will now be taking aim at those behind her arrest during a public meeting last month. Frenchko's misdemeanor charge of disrupting a public meeting was dismissed this morning by a visiting judge in Warren. Her attorney, Dave Beatrice, says this proves the case against Frenchko was part of a politically motivated attack against her by her fellow commissioners and Sheriff Paul Monroe. Commissioner Niki Frenchko filed a federal civil lawsuit today following her arrest in July. Sheriff Paul Monroe, Trumbull County Commissioner Mauro Cantala-Mesa, former Commissioner Frank Fuda, and the two deputies who were involved in Frenchko's arrest were named as defendants in the case.
Lawyers for Trumbull County Commissioner Niki Frenchko have filed a motion in federal court asking that a judge rule in her favor on a civil rights case stemming from her arrest last year, and that those involved in the arrest should be punished for their actions.
The motion specifically asks U.S. District Court Judge J. Philip Calabrese for a partial summary judgment against several of the people involved with Niki Frenchko's case. A summary judgment is when a judge makes a decision based on statements and evidence without actually going to a trial. The motion asks that the judge rule that Frenchko's First and Fourth Amendment rights were violated and that some of those involved in Frenchko's arrest, including Trumbull County Sheriff Paul Monroe, destroyed evidence and public records.
A federal judge ruled that Trumbull County Commissioner Niki Frenchko's civil rights were violated when she was wrongfully arrested during a commissioner's meeting.
Frenchko's attorney, Dave Beatrice, tells Janet Rogers that the ruling is a big win for his client.
In his 91-page ruling, Judge J. Philip Calabrese explained at this July 7, 2022 commissioners meeting, no probable cause existed for deputies to arrest Trumbull County Commissioner Niki Frenchko for disrupting a public meeting.
The first sentence of the judge's decision says it all. In America, We do not arrest our political opponents for their speech. And that's what they did to Niki Frenchko.
The federal judge determined Frenchko's First and Fourth Constitutional Amendment rights were violated during her arrest. At that meeting, Frenchko refused to apologize for reading a letter on the record detailing a parent's claims their son had not received proper medical care in the jail, which operations are overseen by Sheriff Paul Monroe. The criminal charge against her was later dismissed. It will be up to a jury to decide if Sheriff Paul Monroe, 2 deputies, and former Commissioner Frank Fuda and Commissioner Mauro Cantalamessa conspired to arrest Frenchko. If punitive damages are awarded, the judge ruled there is no qualified immunity.
He stripped all of those public officials of their qualified immunity, which means they can be held individually liable, which means they'd have to come out of their own pocket if punitive damages are awarded.
Commissioner Frenchko says she feels vindicated and believes she had to push back with a lawsuit, and asks if deputies and others will falsely arrest her, an elected official, at a public meeting, what could happen to others who speak out.
I felt compelled to file a lawsuit because if they did it to me, they're going to do this to other people.